PhD.
Yeah, man.
PhD.
How's it? Can you remove the P today and just say HD?
PhD.
Because the P is nowhere to be found.
PhD.
I'm good, sir. Thanks, and yourself?
Why are you saying I must remove the P?
No, because there's a lot of things missing. A very huge part of our happiness is missing, and that's a fact. Much as we're strong and stuff, we cannot deny the reality that we're hoping for a South African final. Unfortunately, the gods of football said no. But with that, I don't want to start with,
Before you even go to the gods of football, somebody might say the P is Pirates in high definition.
No. That's great.
Or you want the P to be removed because it stands for pyramid.
No, for now it makes sense when you talk about Pirates in high definition.
PhD, it's a sad day for me. You can see my mood is not the usual mood. You know, I told you that we must play 0-0 at Orlando, and I told you that when we get to Egypt, we will score. But unfortunately, we failed to do what we do best or what we've been doing best.
After you got your predictions right, I was very confident that even your predictions will work for us since you got them right at FNB. But with that said, there's no wiser person who can change the past, unless if that person is God. But let's get straight into the game and not want to, talk about the excuses and stuff. We were playing our normal formation that we used to play before, of 4-2-3-1 when we defend, before playing to Sundowns that humiliated us. I mean, Sundowns is the team that taught us to play with 5 from the back. And from that, as we were marshalling Ribeiro to make sure that he doesn't score, we then changed our formation.
Let me interrupt you there. You spoke about 5 at the back, but I'm a bit confused as to what we did yesterday. Was it 5-3-2, 5-4-1? Was it 3-4-3? Because to me it looked like a 3-4-3 more than any other thing.
Yes, no, it looked like that in terms of attack, because remember, majority of the times we were attacking, but when we were defending, we were 5. We were playing with 3 center backs, Koki, Mbogazi, and Sibisi. So because the coach now gave us an approach that I was not even thinking of, he was more in attack. If you check the first half, Mahopa got a ball coming from the left. I think it was from Lebuile Mufokeng. He trapped it with his stronger right. Unfortunately, he could hit it very quickly with his weaker left, and the goalkeeper made a save. I mean, talk about Muhaonkota, a player that the majority of us did not see this coming. What a goal that he scored. I mean, I even spoke to him before they went to Egypt to say, give us a goal. Then he did promise me a goal. And when I saw him scoring, I was very emotional because remember, some of us are fans who have players as fans. So I was very happy. And we're talking about a player now who's just introduced into the senior team coming from Dugu Makanya, the DDC. And you talk about Mbogazi again, a very young player who's hardly had 10 games in PSL, but he went on and played. You talk about CBC. Remember.
Let me ask you a question before you even talk about CBC. And because you just mentioned Mbogazi, and which reminded me of the height problem. Should we address that now, or you want to finish your statement first before I come back to the height issue as to how we approach the game?
No, I think also it's fine. We can tackle that one. I think it resulted into them wanting to clear the ball more, because Mbogazi he's not good at, not really not good, but he wants to play comfortably. There were most of the balls yesterday because they were told, I think they were overcoached into being told how important this game is. So they did not remove themselves out of the pressure of whatever.
It was an emotional thing for them more than playing their normal football.
Exactly. So had you find a normal Mbogazi, majority of the balls that he cleared, he could have easily dropped them and played them. But because they were told about the importance of not conceding and stuff, I think that led into them conceding goals. If they played their normal way, of starting from the back, something that we saw towards the end of the game, where they started building from the back and wanting to play, you could tell that there's fluidity from the back.
But somebody would say then we conceded at that time when we were starting to be comfortable.
Yes, I think even that you need some emotional intelligence to know that these guys Pyramid are the highest scoring team in terms of the CAF Champions League now. So you must expect a goal. It's not like you cannot be naive and be thinking that Pyramids cannot be scoring you while they are the highest scoring team. You know sometimes you need to bring yourself into the reality. But I mean to go out there and score with DDC players in Relebohile Mofokeng, those are Korko melons. And if you check last season when we were taken out of the tournament by Joanning, the very same player, Relebohile Mofokeng, missed a penalty, and now he has grown to scoring in an open play. You talk about that volley. I mean, that was incredible. Unfortunately, we were let down by defensive errors that was based only on communication. We gave them. There was no communication between Sipho Chaine, Sibisi, and whose ball is it. We were scored by mistakes, and I think somehow we were let down by those because we were able to score. We were supposed to score and be able to defend at least. When we scored the second goal, I was very much confident that I know we've won the match. But one thing that I want people not to blame the coach. The coach realized that if we drop deep and over-defend, those guys, they are capable of breaking any form of defense. So he thought, let me rather attack. But in that attack, it's him trying to defend. So I hear people, and I understand why. People are blaming him that he should have stuck at the back. Let me tell you, had he defended, they would have scored us maybe even 5 goals. If you check, there's a ball that was cleared by Mahopa. It was supposed to be a goal. There were many goals.
I agree with you on that one, and I am one of those that wanted Tito, by the way, but I got worried when I saw Tito coming with Kabelo Dlamini at the same time. I said, I wonder who's going to mark. And I ended up seeing Tito running around the field, sort of a free roll. And each time he had the ball, he couldn't go forward because he was always blocked by 2 to 3 people. And he had to always take it back. I felt like whenever he had the ball, he didn't get the support that he needed.
Yes, one thing what these guys do, they study the opponents. They know for sure that you've got Tito Patrick Maswanga. Remember that guy is wearing number 10. It's not a fluke that is wearing number 10. And there's no team in the world that puts their number 10 on the bench. A lot of people would not understand because they don't understand that number 10 has a spiritual connection in football generally, anywhere in the world. You talk about your Maradona, Zinedine Zidane, Ronaldinho, all the stars, Lionel Messi. It's always number 10. Why? Because that number is special. It's not just a number. It's like me having a PhD. I'm not just a fan. You understand? I'm even
Tata, PhD, Tata.
I'm even more famous than Sundowns fans. So that alone should tell you what number 10 is. So that team was playing around Tito Patrick Maswanga. That's why when the coach realized that Pirates players are just moving the ball like robots. So he thought, let me bring in someone who will be composed. I mean, who will draw in players and who will hold the ball and players would mark him. That way we are eliminating players. It means he's 3 in 1.
I agree with you because always he had 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
But then whenever he holds the ball, they block him and there's no one to assist him because he has to give him the ball. And that forces him to always be with the ball for a longer time.
Yes, and that's why the confusion with many supporters, they always say he always loses the ball. Remember, a child that does not go out and galavant and do whatsoever, they're unlikely to make mistakes. Why? Because they do basic stuff. They eat, go to school, and go to sleep. You'll never have a problem with that child. But Tito is that special player who always commits. He's a creative player. He always creates moments, magical moments. So that's why he will lose some. That's why there are defensive midfielders who are there to marshal him and always defend for him. But for him, it should be more about attack, creating and connecting link plays. That's why I said when we were in FNB that every time you see a Kabelo Dlamini warm-upping and you see Tito inside the pitch, in people's mind, because they think that they should play as number 10, both of them, they always anticipate in their mind, because they don't have a PhD, they always think that the coach will take out Kabelo Dlamini, Tito Patrick Maswanga. No, those players are complementary. When you have to, that's why yesterday I was seated with someone, I said, no, he will put Kabelo Dlamini and Tito, because those players, they can play the ball. The other one is a bit slower. But some people, when they define slow, they call it composed. And some of us, we call it composed, because remember, no one is slow, no one is fast, no one is too ill. It's just that when you are on time like Kabelo Dlamini, who has a PhD of passing the ball, the coach saw that, let me put these guys, because there's no one to hold the ball.
And I tend to agree with you because most of us only blamed the coach when the score was 3-2. But when they came on, most of us were whistling and cheering, saying now the midfield is going to be under control.
Yes. No, fans generally, just like in life, they're like that. That's why when you're successful, you have many friends. But when things don't go your way, everyone is no longer your friend now. You're no longer relevant. But we understand because we are emotionally intelligent. When we score 2 goals, you don't score pyramid away. You don't score 2 goals. Even the very same Mamelodi Sundowns that progressed by luck, one can say. Because I don't think they played far better than us or better than us. It's just that they were lucky to get a goal, and away goal rule helped them in their favor. But I mean to go and score a pyramid away from home.
2 goals for that matter.
2 goals, and who scored? Young players who are still at school. They must go and study now. They are confused. You understand? They are busy studying. They are busy playing football, but yet they do better, far better than those that are having all this time to gallivant and stuff. But my point here is, look at Orlando Pirates from this aspect. We had 3 DDC players who were just players, normal, ordinary players. 3 of them, and we had, if I may.
And more than 90% South African-based players.
It was just Dion Hout who was exceptional, who came from outside, and we're not trying to be, as in our anti-African or what. But what we're trying to say is, Orlando Pirates is an epitome of black excellence. It always puts its people first, and I was very happy when I saw how we played and stuff. Sometimes you need to be realistic. Remember, you can get 80% and be number 10. Someone can get 80% and be number 1. It just depends on whom you compete with. So Orlando Pirates, in terms of ratio, we were very successful. If you were to check, I don't want to be controversial, but I'm allowed. We don't have a 60 million rand player. We don't have. Relebohile Mofokeng, we bought him with a loaf of bread.
Are you trying to say you don't have a $500 million rand squad?
Not even. We don't know what's a billion. We are not running mine here. We are playing football.
You see now you're out of order. So I know Sundowns has got how many 60 million rand players? 3 or 4, and others are 40.
No,
So maybe money does help in football.
No, money does help in general, in life in general. But in this aspect, remember, that's why there's what they call FIFA financial fair play. But we don't want to get into the controversy of that. But we congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns.
But it's called fair play. How does fair play become controversy?
No, people of this country hate the truth.
But let's speak the truth.
Okay, let's say the truth. So I'm saying to you, our squad, when you look at it, you look at Talent Mbata, an ordinary player who was not even playing at SuperSport United. You talk to Tito Patrick Masongani, who's the most loved now, former player of the season. I mean, he's playing for Bafana. We just got him from the bench. You talk about Relebohile Mofokeng, he's just coming from School of Excellence. He did well. You talk about Mohaung Kota again. He hardly has a season at PSL. He scored in his first game away from home. You understand? Who does that at your first season? It has never been done.
What's the importance of FIFA fair play, more especially in terms of African football?
The importance of FIFA fair play, it's important in this way because remember, we're in a competition and we don't want to turn our league, if we were to talk about the league or the CAF Champions League, into a farmers league.
I always say South African league is a farmers league. And I'm not scared to say that it's not controversial because you become a farmers league when we already know before the league starts that this so-and-so is going to win the league. So it's not controversy, it's reality.
No, remember, they hate us for reality, and it's the reality. We can never shy away from that. It's just that I don't think today is the right time or the right day to talk about it, as they will think, he's bitter and stuff. Remember, I'm happy for Mamelodi Sundowns. But I'm just saying, I just want you to understand that.
And I want them to beat Pyramids.
Yes, I want them to win, definitely, most definitely, for South Africa's sake. No, we are going. We are going
and we're going to do an interview there.
We most definitely.
It's the 25th of May, ne?
Yes, and we must send Dr. Patrice Motsepe and Tlhophe Motsepe our bank details. It goes without saying he must pay for our...
No. Bank details for what?
He must. We are supporting South Africa.
No, but Akiri, it's Loftus.
They are players. Yeah, we must not go. It's not safe. They sometimes allow people to go for free.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing. We always talk about that, but we will find a way. But we have to go on the 25th. For 1st of June, unfortunately, it's their prerogative whether they allow us or not. But 25th, me and you, it's a date at Loftus.
No, we're definitely going to Loftus, and we wish them nothing the best. I think Sundowns will definitely win this one.
Let's break down the game here, Sundowns, because we both watched the game. And what do you think of the result, apart from it being an own goal? The fact of the matter is Sundowns is in the finals.
No, to be honest with you, I think Coach Cardoso almost costed Sundowns. It's just that they won't see it now since they've progressed. I mean, you cannot put Shalulile and Reynas on the bench. Reynas, who gave them a goal. They started with Matthews. I don't think Matthews has been that of a quality compared to your Reynas and Shalulile, who were doing very well at the end of the day. I mean, but I liked their approach. They were playing a 4-4-2 formation. They were willing to play. I mean, the mindset that they had of going there to attack. I mean, to play. Even when they were scored, you could tell rather that Mamelodi Sundowns wants to play. And if they lose, they want to lose like heroes who displays the Shushan and Piano kind of football. Khuliso Mudau has the fantastic game. But I was also not impressed with the coach when he played Mudiba. That's why, if you check, they were exposed on the left side when Mudiba is playing in terms of defense. And those guys had many chances because of what Mudiba is not your typical natural left back. He's your left back that you need when you are attacking. So in such games, when you're playing away and you saw they were painting it red, playing against Ahly, we're talking about the best team in Africa here. You need someone like Lunga, Divine Lunga. I think the coach realized as the game progressed that no, the side of Mudiba is now costing me. Then he then substituted Mudiba and brought in Divine Lunga. But Khuliso Mudau, I mean, quality, class of his own. Alende, he was playing very well. And I think in the middle of the park also, I was not impressed with their 6-6 of Jaden Adams and Mukwena, because Jaden Adams is more of a ball player. Mukwena, he marks when he's closer to the players, but he's not that kind of a player that would go and running and trying to defend on players. So that combination for me, that's why it costed them. They were always broken down at the middle of the park. They were supposed to bring in Obas. That game was designed for Obas, whom Obas does not give you much in terms of attack, but he can mark. He's hard. He's always running to defend. He always, he's got that zeal. He's always fighting and stuff. So the coach did realize that, but that's why he was substituting there and there. But they played very well. And at least they were well composed. I mean, from Reynas to score that goal. I mean, you cannot falter them for anything. At the end of the day, they made it. But again, the introduction that I'm complaining about of Reynas and Shalulile was the difference, because when they removed the Matthews, for what I don't understand, because he was given a ball where Ribeiro cut in and dribbled almost the entire defense and gave it to whom? To Matthews. Matthews was just staring at the goalkeeper. I don't know what was happening there. He could have buried that chance, but unfortunately he did not. And Sundowns, to be honest, they didn't have the best of game in terms of playing, but they knew how to win. I think it was the difference with us. We played far better than Sundowns, but we didn't know how to win. When we had moments like when we scored even in a very short space of time.
In fact, each time Pirates scored,
yes,
I would expect a pyramid goal, because strangely, this thing hasn't happened to me maybe in 12 years, where the last 10 minutes I had to switch off my TV. When they scored, my TV was off. In fact, when I came back, I found them celebrating, because, I always say I have certain bones that when I throw, they tell me the truth. I become hysterical and I'm in denial. So I switched off the TV. By the time I switched on, I saw them celebrating, and I was hoping for VAR to assist us again.
Yeah, to be honest, I think we saw that goal coming. If you check, even when it was before it was scored, Sipho China made a save. That goal was a corner, by the way, and a corner that Sipho just made a save. So it's like you want him to overwork as a goalkeeper. Sometimes you need to help him in defense. So we saw a goal coming. Honestly, we could see that these guys are coming. But yeah, it is what it is. We congratulate Mamelodi Sundowns, and we hope that they because when they get a star, it will definitely push us into the next season. Not only us, with even Kaizer Chiefs, because apparently they'll be playing in the CAF. That's where they belong. I mean, that's the levels they need to go and play there. Otherwise, they must fight for top 8.
Okay, you just mentioned Kaizer Chiefs, and just in case we don't get to talk again about Kaizer Chiefs before the 3rd of May. How do you see it going?
No, to be honest, Kaizer Chiefs this season, they've done so well in terms of reaching the net bank. The only thing that makes Kaizer Chiefs not to think that they've done well is the fact that they suffer from nostalgia. It's like they see Kaizer Chiefs of now as the Kaizer Chiefs of 1982. And this is not the Kaizer Chiefs of 1982. Kaizer Chiefs has lost their philosophy, their system of play. Now for Kaizer Chiefs, it's not just winning. It's building a team, having a structure and a system and a formation that you can...
So you are one of those that says Kaizer Chiefs is building?
Kaizer Chiefs is building. And
how do you build a number one team?
Apparently, like I'm saying, they suffer from nostalgia. In their own mind, they think they are playing in Spain, but in reality, they are struggling to get into top 8.
But after beating Sundowns, they said they won Man City or Real Madrid.
You know them; they are very vocal, and that's if there's an award for people who talk too much, it should be Kaizer. It should go to Kaizer Chiefs. And I always say to them, remember, if Nabi gets to win the final of the Nedbank, Nabi will go down as the best coach in the last 10 years. If that's the level that they are in, to win a cup for them in 10 years, Nabi will definitely, without any shade of a doubt, become the best coach in 10 years. Meaning, their level has dropped to that point. And the reason why Kaizer Chiefs is not so successful is the fact that they don't understand that we are here. You understand? If your neighbor is driving a Ferrari, it doesn't mean that you also are in the same level. It just only means that he's your neighbor, and sometimes you must take pictures with him so that at least you feel better. But for you to think that you are like him is what Kaizer Chiefs is doing. Kaizer Chiefs thinks just because there's a narrative, Chiefs, Pirates, they therefore think that we are in the same level. We are not. We were in the past, but now we are not. They need to deal with the reality of saying, no, guys, we need to work on our team. We need to find our mojo. We need to work hard, and just relax and not pressure ourselves. Because now they are suffering from peer pressure. You understand?
But now they can say they are playing against Pirates in the finals. Pirates beat Sundowns, and Sundowns also. Pirates beat Sundowns, and Chiefs also beat Sundowns, and they are both meeting in the final.
No, they've done well. Like I'm saying, if Nabi wins the final, Nabi will become the best coach in the last decade. That means they've done so well. But with them, they are always blaming their coach, hey, what and whatnot and whatnot. Remember, when Kaizer Chiefs also went to the CAF Champions League finals, Kaizer Chiefs was not doing well in terms of the PSL. Sometimes you have to look at it from another angle for you to understand that we are successful in a certain way, rather than complaining about everything. This is what I always have with Orlando Pirates fans to say. Sometimes you look at things from one way, we lost, but you don't carry the positives and realize how much we've achieved. I mean, let me tell you something. How many teams per season in this league? We are 16 teams. In PSL, we've got leagues around the SADC region. We've got leagues in North Africa. Teams that did not even qualify to play for the CAF Champions League. There were teams again that qualified to play, but they did not reach the preliminary round. But us, Orlando Pirates, we went on to play even in the semis. Remember, we are now in this context, because remember, a lot of people, they struggle from understanding context. They don't know that a yes is a no. They don't know that a no is a yes. In this context, Orlando Pirates is in the top 4 in Africa. You understand? We've done so well. We've done that well. So you cannot say, I'm angry at Orlando Pirates. Hey, what? No, we are very happy because we understand. If I take... if I give you 10 rand and then you come with things of 9 rand, I think you've done well. You didn't lose so much. You understand? But sometimes you have to look at things from that aspect and you'll realize how successful Orlando Pirates has been. We are number 2. We are playing Nedbank in the final. So these are not excuses. These are reality. Remember, a lot of people are looking for us to be down. You understand? They want to see us down. And now they will say, they understand football if we come and crush our team and everything. We know. We saw our backline. It was not so solid. We know what happened and we are not denying the facts. But what we are saying is we do acknowledge the good that is done by the management of the team, by the leadership of the team, and we realize that they've done so well. Remember, I'll never celebrate you if you haven't done well. I'll never protect someone who did not do well just for the sake of I support Orlando Pirates. If you did not do well, I'll be the first to come and tell you that no, here and here you didn't do well. But for me, They've achieved. And if you were to look at it from a PhD eye, you'll understand that we achieved even far better than Sundowns.
How's the PhD?
The PhD, when it looks at, if I take my son to a school where he doesn't even pay his school fees monthly, and then he does better than that one who pays 400 school fees, for me, he has done it. It just depends on which aspect are you looking at it from. But from me, I think we did fairly well, and we should be proud of the boys. I need to go and just, congratulate them, and they must never beat themselves up about what happened. Because remember, if they concentrate much on what happened, we've got a final to play. We've got people to discipline. You understand? We need to discipline those ones who talk too much. I didn't know that we've got people who support pyramids in South Africa.
Hey, I was shocked. You know what's shocked? You know what shocked me? Sundowns were going to meet Pirates, but I saw more Sundowns supporters supporting Pirates than Chiefs supporters. Chiefs actually wished for Pirates to fail. What causes that?
No, those are levels, my brother. When remember, the success of a jealous man, I was saying here, comes from the downfall of a successful man. Sundowns has been that successful. They've been giving us competition. So their understanding of football in that context will be different to many. You understand? Who just, because those ones are wishing that Pirates does not win. Because even if you can force them to understand, they do not qualify because they are not in the level to understand. They are not Champions League material. So when you deal with that's why sometimes when we discuss serious matters, we call people, we are talking about serious matters, family matters here. We call people who've got families. You understand? Even you won't understand. You understand? This is precisely, so I don't blame Kaizer Chiefs for not understanding. They are not in the level of understanding. You cannot blame them. You can't. I fully understand. In fact, I was saying to them, guys, laugh, because this is the only time you get to laugh. You hardly get time to laugh. And I'm happy for them that the Pirates lost and they are celebrating. I hope their bank accounts will change.
Talking about the bank account, so are you still going to approach Motsepe so that me and you go to the final of CAF Champions League?
No, most definitely. By this video alone, he will definitely make that. Even if we want to go to the
the World Cup.
The World Cup, yes, we definitely qualify. Yes, in fact, congratulations to him for giving us. He's not doing us a favor. Remember, people don't understand Dr. Patrice Motsepe. Dr. Patrice Motsepe is for all South Africans. It's not just for Sundowns people. But if you are small-minded, you will think, Sundowns. But someone is crying there, doesn't even have data, busy go shop right, over the day.